Welcome to the Virulent Vortex, a podcast in which we discuss infectious diseases across scales, from pathogens and molecules to populations, pandemics, and everything in between. My name is Jaap de Rode. I'm a professor of biology here at Emory University, and joining me today is Sandra Mendiola. Sandra is a graduate student in the Population Biology, Ecology, and Evolution program here at Emory University. Sandra, welcome to the show.
Good to be here.
So Sandra, we have talked a lot about human diseases in this podcast series. You don't study that. Tell us what you study.
No, I actually study agricultural diseases that are vectored or transmitted to plants by bugs.
Okay, so we have plants and we have bugs. So let's dissect it a little bit. What kind of plants are we talking about?
I work mainly with squash plants.
Okay, so squash plants. So these are the little squashes or big squashes?
Really any squash.
Any squash.
Your run-of-the-mill zucchini, yellow crookneck squash, even pumpkins.
Oh, so it includes Halloween decorations?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is agriculture. And so what kind of disease do these plants get?
So I study a disease called cucurbit yellow vine disease, which is caused by the bacteria Serratia marcescens.
Okay.
And basically what happens is the bugs will infect a plant with this bacteria, and the bacteria will clog up like the arteries of the plant, causing it to wilt and yellow and causing like pretty rapid decline of the plant once it's set. They're not doing it maliciously.
Okay.
But the bugs will just pick up this bacteria when they're feeding. It sort of hangs out inside of them. And then when they feed it, they sort of like regurgitate or like spit it back out into the plant.
Okay. So very briefly talking about bugs. So a lot of people think of bugs, anything that's creepy or crawly. Some people refer to bugs as anything that's insect, whether it's a butterfly or a beetle. Now your bugs are a true bug.
Yeah, they're very exclusive, but these are true bugs in classification. And so they've got their 6 legs, hard exoskeleton, and they've got sucking mouth parts, which you alluded to previously.
Yeah.
So they mainly feed on just fluid.
Okay. So and that fluid can be plants. And we'll talk later about how that can be blood of people as well. But to stick to the plants and the bugs right now, what is the exact question you're trying to answer?
So I'm really interested in insect microbe symbioses.
What does that mean?
So a lot of insects have these little microbial partners that they pick up that live inside them for a long time. And these sort of long-term associations are called symbioses.
Okay.
And
how is that different from, say, our microbiome in our gut?
It's actually pretty similar.
Okay.
I think for these true bugs especially, and bugs that are only eating one type of food, and in our case, squash, you don't think of vegetables as being unhealthy.
No.
But it is really hard to get all your nutrients from just one food source. So often these bacterial symbionts that live inside the bugs will sort of complement the nutrients that they're not getting from the squash. So they're a bit of like a little probiotic, a little health supplement. And in our case, it makes the bugs grow faster and makes them survive longer. So makes them healthier overall. What
is the relation then to the other bacteria that cause the disease in these plants?
Yes. So we actually found out that the symbiotic microbes make it harder for Serratia marcescens, the pathogenic bacteria, to establish inside the squash bugs.
Okay. So if a bug feeds on a plant that has this disease, it's harder for the bug to pick up the disease, and that helps the next plant that the bug goes to.
Yeah. So the symbiotic interaction will basically make the bugs, I guess, a bit more resistant.
So what can farmers do with this knowledge?
That's a great question. So our symbiont interaction is environmental. So the squash bugs will just pick up the symbiotic bacteria from the environment. So we can just spray this sort of bacterial culture onto a plant, and the squash bugs will pick it up. And that, of course, will hopefully reduce the transmission potential of the bug to cause disease.
Yeah.
But that's a bit of a double-edged sword, because these these bugs with the symbiont, they're healthier, they do better, they grow faster. And these bugs do cause feeding damage to the plant.
Oh, I see.
So if you get too big of an infestation, they won't kill the plant because they've given it a disease, but they will kill it just from eating it.
So it's really a balance between the damage of the bug and the damage of the disease. And so figuring out, what the relative costs and benefits are would be important for farmers before they start spraying these bacteria in their fields.
Yeah, I think it'll definitely depend on if there's like really high burden of disease and you want to control that, or if you want to keep your bug population down.
Yeah. Now, we talked about bugs, and we mentioned earlier that these bugs are defined by having sucking mouth parts, and your bugs suck the juices out of these plants, but some of them suck blood. And my understanding is that you're about to graduate, and your next job as a postdoc is to study these bloodsuckers.
Yes, yeah. So up next for me, I'll be studying the kissing bug, which sucks vertebrate blood, including human blood.
Yeah.
And it actually transmits another disease known as Chagas disease, which is caused by a trypanosome parasite.
So will you be doing similar research where you try to understand if symbiotic bacteria can stop the spread of these trypanosome parasites?
Yes, I'll be looking at different strains of symbiotic bacteria in these kissing bugs and trying to see if they can have the same reductive effect on trypanosome infection in the kissing bug.
Yeah. Well, Sandra, this has been so interesting, going from plants to humans and these insects sucking either the juices of plants or the blood of humans and having this protection based on little bacteria. Very intriguing. Thank you so much for joining us today for this episode.
Thanks for having me.
We hope you enjoyed this episode. We look forward to seeing you for the next one. Thanks for watching.